And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Okay, flying weather for Wednesday morning. The interior, VFR from the north slope all the way down across Cook Inlet and Kodiak Island. And then to the west here, we've got some marginal VFR over the eastern Bering Sea into the southwest interior with IFR there from the Yukon Delta coast across St. Lawrence Island. And out here to the west, a bigger area of IFR associated with a warm front spreading into the central Aleutians and southern Bering Sea. And then to the east here, we've got some IFR right over the Copper River Basin with areas of marginal VFR over the southern southeast coast. And for the afternoon, mostly VFR for the Panhandle on the afternoon Wednesday. And marginal VFR here with that moisture and weak trough there from about Eagle southward there to Yakutat. VFR continues, again, Kodiak Island up across the Kenai Peninsula, northward to the North Slope, and then marginal VFR still at times in areas there for the Arctic coast. Marginal VFR southwest interior, including Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, and IFR, that storm coming into the Bering Sea, with it pushing eastward here from the Adak-Atka area in toward Nikolsky. And then for the Thursday morning time, that shifts onshore here across the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta to just about Togiak with marginal VFR here for the Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, lower conditions sliding into Kodiak Island now, staying VFR from the Gulf of Alaska again right up to the North Slope. And for the southeast coast, areas of marginal VFR. For the afternoon, marginal VFR Prince of Wales Island to Dixon Entrance, otherwise VFR to the north and to the west to Prince William Sound, but marginal VFR now coming into northern Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula. Southern Cook Inlet looking at IFR pushing in with that system and moisture coming eastward now. So that'll be right over Kodiak Island, covering the southwest interior here, staying VFR to the north, marginal VFR, North Slope Arctic coast, and much of the Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. For passes, Brooks Range looking good again tomorrow with Anatuvik and Atigan, both forecast to be VFR. Lake Clark and Merrill for the Western Alaska Range, VFR. Rainy, VFR. Windy, also VFR. Isabel, marginal VFR, becoming VFR later in the day. It'll probably be marginal VFR for the day for Mentasta, back to VFR for Tanita and Portage VFR, as well as Chilkoot and White. Freezing levels, 2,000 feet here across the southeast coast, and then out to the west, some warmer air coming northward here with 4,000 feet getting north of the Aleutian chain there, but the surface still all the way up towards St. Lawrence Island. And for icing, again, a lot of moisture with that storm and warm front coming in. Could be some considerable moderate rime icing here for the central Aleutians, starting to slide into the Nikolsky area. Otherwise, look for some lingering possibilities of mixed light icing there for the southern southeast coast. And for the jet stream here, we've got a trough axis from the northern interior right down along the Panhandle there, and then much stronger jet here. Westerlies 115 knots right into the southwest coast here, turning northwest 120 knots across Kodiak Island. And for 9,000 feet, westerly flow here across eastern Bering Sea at about 45 knots, turning more northwest for the Alaska Peninsula. Up to 35 knots there through Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands. Pretty light to the north, light to the east. And for 3,000 feet, still looking at some east winds, maybe up to 35 knots, but it looks like that'll be out over the Chukchi Sea there with lighter winds for the western Arctic coast. Northern Bering Sea, not too bad. Then that low center coming up here, bringing the stronger winds. You can see 85 knots there south of the east central Aleutians, and then northeasterlies 40 knots on the back side of that system. And a weaker low here in the Gulf of Alaska, northwest 40 knots. Again, Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands, and that covering much of Kodiak Island. So as a result, drew in some isolated moderate turbulence there for southern Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula area down across Kodiak Island. And then out to the west of that storm, we've got considerable moderate turbulence, Adak-Atka coming eastward across the Fox Islands.